Despite his near devastation by Nellie's news, Mell's flaxen eyes continued to wander in hopes of catching sight of the girl. By now, it should be quite obvious to you what Mell was feeling. But the boy himself was having difficulty comprehending the things going through his heart. Emotionally, he was horribly unstable, like a ship without a sail. And still, every time he spotted the white-haired girl, his heart would leap, his whole body jitter with anxiety and excitement. He had never felt anything like this before, and as such, he struggled to keep these strange emotions in check. Whenever he saw an opportunity, Mell would speak to the white-haired girl. And days he was unable to, he either spent in secluded silence, or a distracted daze. Love is a curious thing. It has the power to change those who experience it. When he did manage to approach her, he tripped over his tongue. Again and again, he talked to her, and again, he stumbled. I imagine, if you were to take him to see a romance at the theater in his present state, he would cry just as much as little Nellie. We cry at tragedies because we draw parallels with our own lives. At least, that is what I think. Great tales of romance attain true gravity with the audience only when they are personally familiar with love. In any event, the white-haired girl was, as a result of this, visibly perturbed. She was delighted that he was being kind to her, but confusion overpowered every other emotion. She appeared to be at a loss for what to do as he clumsily catapulted words and stares at her. But Mell did not back down, though he probably knew not what caused such fiery emotion to erupt from within his breast. One's first love, in particular, tends to burn like a wildfire. Are you familiar with the sensation, Master? No, don't ask me this question. Don't ask me this question. So many embarrassing things just came flooding back into my head. Don't ask me this question. Oh? Don't you laugh at me. Ah. There she is. Is she cleaning? No. It looks like she's reading. It's now or never. Huh. Not again. Boo! Ha! Sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. Lord Mell. You very clearly meant to scare me. Because you just wouldn't notice me. What are you reading? You looked pretty engrossed. Oh, I'm sorry. I should have asked for permission. It's fine. No need to apologize. Feel free to read whatever you want. And you're welcome to bring books back to your room if you like to spend more time with them. But I was just amazed that the mansion had a library. It must have been a lot of work to collect all these books. There are some pretty old books in here too. Your grandfather's? Some that he collected, and some even older than that. Take a look at this. I think it's a diary, but it's not from this country. Or this century, for that matter. Maybe a feudal lord? Here, he's complaining about the quality of the harvest. Can this forsaken land only produce oversour grapes? If only the largest of the, Barney? Or maybe Barnier? If only the largest of the Barnier estates were mine instead. The land there is much more suitable for cultivation. There you have it. You can read this, Lord Mell? More or less. I've looked over it several times already, so it wasn't too difficult. Why would such an old book be here? I'm not sure. It, and all of this, was already here when I moved into the mansion. Have you not lived here your whole life? I was born at our estate. But to me and Nellie, this is more like our home. We moved when I was still young, and we've lived here ever since. Nellie and Mother have both grown quite fond of it. Father, though, often goes back to the house, because he doesn't like all the roses. By himself? Yeah, well, sometimes Mother goes with him. I don't even know what my Mell voice is anymore. So I'm just gonna read his lines in my normal voice because I have no clue where I'm reading his character, so I'm just gonna say his lines in my voice. I have no clue what kind of voice to give him, so might as well give him the awkward voice of my own. But for the most part, he goes alone. Huh. But don't get me wrong. It's not because they don't get along. In fact, they act more like teenagers in love than grown adults. It almost makes me sick having to watch it. It is a wonderful thing to be close, no matter how old they may be. True, but still. There are those in the world who cannot be with the ones they care for, as much as they wish. I'm sorry about that. Oh, that's right, the book. What were you reading? I, wasn't exactly reading. I can't. I do not enjoy reading lots of texts, so I was looking at the pictures. Is that so? You seem very cultured, so I thought you would be partial to reading. Perhaps you're actually more like Nellie, and eschew your studies? Eschew? Eschew? To avoid habituli, especially on moral or practical grounds. Eschew. Yes. I would have guessed. But you like looking at pictures? I do. What else do you like? What? What do you enjoy doing? It can be anything. I enjoy being told stories. Stories? Yes. When I was young, my father would tell me tales. What kind of stories did you like? There was one about an imprisoned girl. Does this have some sort of symbolism about something going on in the game? Because, okay, I'm going into storyteller brain right now. So, in the process of stories, everything that a character mentions likely has some influence on how the story's gonna go. So if a character is mentioning another story, usually their mention will always be brought back into, the main narrative of the tale that they're in. Yes, they're referencing another story, but at the same time, they're doing an unintentional reference to what is going on with the plot of the game. So yeah, I'm sorry for interrupting right here, but a story about an imprisoned girl, so there might be some symbolism in the fact that she's reading a book about an imprisoned girl. I can't think of anything though. I can't think of anything from the things we have here, but there's someone imprisoned. A girl that is imprisoned in the story of Fata Morgana. Sorry, I just had to do that. Tell it to me. Once, there was a girl, and she was locked away in a mansion deep in the forest. A mansion with only one window. But the window sat high upon the wall, far beyond her reach. So it was always dark, very dark inside, unlike this mansion. However, the girl did not like the outside world. There were lots of scary things out there, after all. Though she may have been all alone in the mansion, she grew comfortable with the darkness in time, so she had nothing to be afraid of. And then, am I doing a good job?
Yes, you are! Yes, you absolutely are!
You're doing fine. Keep going. What happens next? Okay. And then, the girl grew up. By then, she had already forgotten why she was locked up, but she was content with the darkness. However, her eyes couldn't help but be drawn to the little bit of light that spilled through the one window. Though she was comfortable in the darkness, the sight of the light made her heart race. At first, the girl thought it was because she found it unpleasant, because she disliked the light and the outside. But slowly she came to realize that she was curious about the outside world. What could be happening out there? For all she knew, the town, the forest, the people, all of it could have changed while she was imprisoned in the mansion. But she had no way of finding out. So the girl decided to write letters and throw them out the window. What began as empty grasping became routine, continuing for several months until she was finally ready to give up. But then, a beautiful white dove flew in through the window.
Oh, I like this dove. Wait, can I see? Yes, this is the dove. Oh, man. Okay, the art style in this game is very, very cool. It's very, very cool, surreal, and kind of, in a way, the most minimalist, maximalist sort of art I've seen. I don't know art terms, so I'm really fucking things up with my description of the art style of this game. But I have to say, the art style of this game definitely does give off like a gothic feel. Especially when we get images like the white dove, or the, photograph of... painting, not photograph. Painting of Mell and Melly. Mell and Nelly. God, I mixed up their names. But yeah, I really like the art style of this game because it gives off like a sort of, gothic feel. Yeah, I have to say I really like the art style of this game. Though, of course, I basically like every sort of art style out there. Like, I don't have too much of a judgment of what's the best art style and what's the worst art style. I don't have any of that because, well, I just like creation. So yeah, I definitely like the art style in this game. Even though I probably say that about every single game I played. Like, there's something to appreciate in every form of art. Like, there's something that one can appreciate in every medium and every style of art. Also, one more thing I want to ask before I continue on. What instrument is playing right here? I can't think of the instrument. Like, is this a music box? I'm not 100% sure, but this sounds like a music box. I'm not for sure, but I really like whatever instrument they're using right here. So yeah, is this a music box or something very similar sounding to a music box? Because I want to know. Because this definitely sounds like a music box to me. Of music, I have to say, my opinion on music is very similar to my opinion on art. It's really easy to please me. I'm gonna say this now. It's really easy to please me, despite how I'm supposed to be a reviewer online. It's very easy to please me, so... yeah.
Tied to the dove's leg was a letter. Her heart racing, she read the words contained within. It seemed to have been written by a man. The letter contained numerous questions for the girl. It also said that if she attached her reply to the dove, it would bring the letter back to him. She was astonished, but she wrote him back anyway, taking care not to mention where she was. After having exchanged letters a number of times, the two felt very close to one another, as though they had known each other for many years, despite having never met. And eventually, the man said he wanted to meet her. Indeed. The girl was unsure what to do. Should she tell him of how she lived? Should she reveal where she spent her days? She was afraid if she did. That's what I meant to say. She was afraid if she did, he would cease to send her letters. She was sure he believed her to be a young lady of noble blood, and not a girl locked away in a house deep in the forest.
Quick question about this story. Not to, judge it or anything, but
how did she eat and drink? Did someone deliver food and drink to her, or what's going on here? How did she eat and drink?
If she's locked away in a room all day with only one window, how does she eat and drink? Was someone giving her food and drink? Like, so far, there hasn't been really a mention of the person keeping her locked up. Or are we about to get to that? Are we about to get to the person who was locking her up? If not, how in the hell did she eat and drink? Sorry, I maybe cut in too early to say anything like that. Yeah, I probably cut in too early.
And not a girl locked away in a house deep in the forest. The girl could not bring herself to write a response. She released the dove through the window, with nothing attached to its leg. And yet, it returned with another letter, written in the man's familiar hand. You must surely have a grave reason for your silence, it said. I would like to know that reason, and I would like to help you. No matter what it may be, you have my word. She deliberated. Though his letters were kind, she did not know this man. He was from the outside. Would he still treat her the same way when he met her? And did she even want to step out into the world beyond? What do you think she did? I'm thinking, Would she reply to the man? Or will she not?
You know what? I'm gonna go against the obvious answer. I'm gonna say she didn't reply.
Wrote a letter and agreed to meet him, right? Yes, she did.
Darn!
The girl made up her mind. She would write a letter. As always, when she tied it to the dove's leg, it flew off out the window. And for some time after that, she received no response from the man. This saddened her, but she thought it was for the best. She belonged in her own confined world, her world of darkness. But then one day, light shone into the mansion. The sealed door had been opened, and in the doorway stood a handsome young man. I have come for you, he said. The man was a prince from a neighboring kingdom. When the girl stepped outside, before her sat a magnificent carriage, the likes of which she had never before seen, accompanied by many servants. The prince, kind as in the letters, swore his love to her, and the two lived happily ever after.
Not to judge your story, but I'm gonna look like a dick now, because I was thinking about stopping myself before saying my comments, but you know what? I'm gonna tear apart the story like the asshole I am. How did this girl eat and drink? How did she get the letters as well? There's a lot of plot holes in the story for which I should not be pointing out because the story is actually okay. The story's okay, but it's riddled in plot holes. It's riddled in so many plot holes, but of course, it's supposed to be a happy story. though this happy story probably has a lot of meanings within this game of Fata Morgana, so I'm really excited to see what parallels we will be seeing from this fable to, well, what goes on in the story of Fata Morgana. Yeah, I was being really critical of the story. I apologize for that. Right when I said it's easy to appease me. It's easy to appease me. But then cue me heavily criticizing a simple story that does have some plot importance, but has to be simple because, well, it's just a general story that the white-haired girl's telling Mell. It's supposed to be a simple story and I tore it apart like the asshole I am. I'm sorry. Ah, what a nice story. I'm glad it had a happy ending. A prince. Was there something funny about the story? Oh no, that's not why I was laughing. Do you ever imagine what it would be like if a prince showed up for you? I'm gonna repeat what I was gonna say because I butchered that line. No, that's not why I was laughing. Do you ever imagine what it would be like if a prince showed up for you? Huh? It doesn't have to be a real prince. Even just someone like one. Come on! Come on, you know that the story is pointing to the direction that we all know it might be pointing to. It's gonna point to the direction we all know it's gonna be pointing to, but Nelly is gonna, jump in and make this into a tragedy. Hey, I'm still in for the Hamlet ending. The forbidden love torn apart at the sword blade of Nelly. Oh god, I would love that so freaking much. Just the final showdown between the timid white-haired girl versus Nelly. I would love to see a sword showdown with Mell in the center like, why are you two sword fighting? I'm sorry. It doesn't have to be a real prince. Even just someone like one. Is that something you dream about? Oh, no. I think I'm perhaps a little too old for that. You think so? Nelly still fantasizes about her prince, and she's 14. I just assumed all girls were the same. Lady Nelly's prince. That's you, Lord Mell. No? What? Is it not? I mean, we used to play make-believe a lot when we were kids, but I very much doubt she still thinks of me that way in earnest. When she calls me her prince now, it's mostly in jest. Oh. If it weren't, that would be concerning. Indeed. Oh? Story. Do you know if it's a regional tale? One that's been passed down through the ages? Quickly changing the subject away from Nelly. Just quickly changing the subject away from Nelly. I am not sure. It could very well be of my father's own creation. You might think me conceited, but I think the story might be about me. Oh? The girl trapped in the mansion is you? You haven't been locked up anywhere before, have you? No, thankfully. I have never been locked up before. Thank goodness. Hold on, wait. Since this game goes through the ages... Oh, hold on. Is she like the maid and is also somewhat immortal if the story takes place in multiple time periods? Is the white-haired girl also sort of immortal, like the maid or something? You know what? That would be very interesting if she's also like immortal. Okay, I can't tell if the maid's immortal, like the maid from the beginning of the game. I can't tell if she's immortal or what's going on with her. But is the white-haired girl very similar to the maid?
I'm curious. I'm actually really curious. But with an appearance like mine, I can sympathize with her being afraid of the outside world. I have, at times, imagined how wonderful life would be if it were only me and my father. But the girl left the house in the end. If your father really wrote that story, then I believe it contains his hope for you to end up the same way. Oh? I don't have what it takes to be a real prince and whisk you away, but I can at least pretend.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Huh. So, if it was your father's wish for you to see the outside world, then surely there's nothing wrong with you getting out and experiencing all the scenery that the world has to offer. Huh. I want to see the outside too. Or, to be more specific, other countries. So, if you like.
Would you please run away with me?
If you liked, could maybe go see distant lands together?
Ah! Dearest Mell! I've been looking all over for you! Perfect timing, Nelly. Perfect timing. He was about to whisk her away and then you came running in. Hopefully she's not overhear. Hopefully she's not overhear, because if she did, things might get a little bit messy. Wait, hold on. I want things to get messy.
Ah, dearest Mell! I've been looking all over for you. Nelly! Look at this, dearest Mell! Mother bought me these wonderful gloves to wear on walks. The roses embroidered on the wrists are just precious. Oh my, you're right. They are beautiful. Huh? You appear to be dizzy, Lord Mell. Are you feeling unwell? Oh? No, I'm fine.
Was he surprised that Nelly ran in or something? Probably, because he was about to, he was about to just ask the white-haired girl to run away with him, so I could tell why he would be, kind of nervous.
Mell was feeling frustrated at his inability to convey his feelings to her. And as his frustration built up over time, he developed, I suppose you would call it, a severe case of love sickness. For several consecutive nights, he had been afflicted with a particular sensation. A presence in his bedchamber. What?
What? Death! Okay, this is not what I was expecting the presence to be saying. What? Death to the unholy one! Death to the heretic! Death to the witch!
What?
Kill!
The color of a rose. That's the chapter's name. Man's voice. Huh. She's... Why? I never wanted her to die. Was she not eating? Man's voice too.
Seal off the tower. Understood? No one finds out about this.
How? Can you be so calm? Don't you understand what you've done?
Huh. Pinning the blame on me.
How nice it must be to be able to distort reality with panic. You're just as guilty as any of us. I never wanted her to die. Interesting. The witch killed her.
The blood of the witch killed my... Oh. Oh? Interesting. Ah! A dream? What was that dream? It was horribly unsettling. I was holding someone. A girl I cared for dearly. In my arms. And she was limp. It was almost as if she were dead. Oh, wait a second. Hold on. You know what? No. I'm gonna wait till I end this video because a theory just appeared in my head. A theory just popped up in my head, but I'm gonna wait to say it for the end of this video, so stay tuned. I've been having a lot of really unpleasant dreams lately. I can't stop shaking. Why would I have such a dream? I feel sick. Back to sleep. But I wonder, who was that girl? Huh? I can sense someone standing beyond my door. I hear whisperings from the song. Oh shit. Oh wait, this is the spooky theme that played earlier. But wait, I hear voices now. Is someone there? It's like they're watching me. There's gonna be no one there, isn't there? There's gonna be no one there. Is it just my imagination? Or it could be the white-haired girl. Maybe. Watching him sleep? I can't move. Is he going through sleep paralysis? Oh god. Okay, I can definitely relate if he's having sleep paralysis right now. What? What do you want? Go away! The sound is growing fainter. Is that truly what your story meant, Father? But such a magnificent garden. Something we could never have had. Are my intentions misguided? What a beautiful white rose. Hello. You know, you could have sneaked into his room rather easily then. So it was the white-haired girl. Interesting. What is she planning? What is she planning with Mell? Because she is going after Mell as as part 3 ended, she did make a mention of Mell and him being the last person of his family's bloodline. She made that reference. So what is she trying to do? I can't really tell. I don't know. I don't think she's gonna kill Mell. But I don't know what other things she could be thinking about doing to Mell, or might be being ordered to do. Interesting. And it seems like the maid either knows that the white-haired girl's up to something, or she's in on the plan. You know, you could have sneaked into his room rather easily then. No one was watching. How long have you... Oh, you needn't pay me any mind. I shall not condemn you, no matter what you might do. Rather, I am on your side. I was not going to do anything. Oh? Is that so? Then perhaps you are out for a late-night stroll. I
imagine you have less difficulties going outside at night. I beg your pardon. I will return to the mansion immediately. Oh yes, that reminds me. It was also the middle of the night when the grocer servant broke into their safe. News of that spread quite far. I am sure you would have heard about it. Oh? Although, was Geschmack? 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 Is there a pronunciation of that? Hold on. Geschmack. Crap. Hold on. Okay. Gesmash, name, meaning, no, I just want to know how to pronounce this name. Gesmashk? Is it Gesmashk? What? Okay, Ancestry does not give you any answers. Hold on. Yeah, I apologize. I do not know how to pronounce that. I don't know how to pronounce that name. Although, was Gesmashk imprisoned? I'm taking a wild guess at how to pronounce this name. Please correct me in the comments of the pronunciation of this name, because I have no clue. Gesmashk. I think it's Gesmashk. Maybe, I'm not for sure. Dear me, I am having trouble remembering. Huh. But worry not. If you wish for it, the mansion shall provide. You are in no danger whatsoever of getting caught. You said that a witch lives in the mansion, did you not? I did. Does that sound, perhaps, a bit archaic to you? No. I believe those rumors mockingly refer to me. Oh my. I have been accused of being a witch before. Which is amusing. I don't have any magical powers. I simply have an unusual appearance. Oh. Okay. I don't know what just happened. Did her expression change? I was reading the lines, and her face suddenly changed a little bit, I think. Right? She says she has an unusual appearance. What just happened? Wait, did her eye color change? Or was that always her eye color? I don't know what happened in this image. I'm sorry. Wait, no! The rose changed colors! It wasn't her face! The rose changed color! It was a white rose, and then it turned into a red rose. Right as she says she doesn't have magical powers, the white rose turned into a red rose. My, what a lovely shade of red. The rose. Is something the matter? This rose was white. Until I took it in my hand. Is that so? I apologize. I must sound mad. I'm sure I was just mistaken. It couldn't possibly have changed. I wonder. Yes? Did the girl locked in the mansion become a princess? She overheard the story! She overheard the story she told Mell! What? We should lock up and head to bed. Make sure all the shutters are closed nice and tight, and then draw the bar on the front door. Oh, man. The maid is definitely suspicious. The house in Fata Morgana. And next time, we'll be entering the chapter called For You. Alright. Yes, I'm ending this video a little bit earlier than I usually would, but that is because I have a theory. Before I say said theory, I need to look something up real quick. Fata Morgana is a complex form of superior mirage that is seen in a narrow band right above the horizon. It is an Italian term named after the Arthurian sorceress Morgan Le Fay, from a belief that these mirages, often seen in the Strait of Messina, were fairy castles in the air or farce land created by her witchcraft to lure sailors to their deaths. Fata Morgana mirages significantly distort the object or objects of which they are based, often such that the object is completely unrecognizable. A Fata Morgana may be seen on land or at sea, in polar regions, or in deserts. It may involve almost any kind of distant object, including boats, islands, and the coastline. Often, a Fata Morgana changes rapidly. The mirage comprises of several inverted, upside down, and erect, right side up, images that are stacked on top of one another. Fata Morgana mirages also show alternating compressed and stretched zones. The optical phenomenon occurs because rays of light are bent when they pass through air layers of different temperatures in a steep thermal inversion, where an atmospheric duct has formed. A thermal inversion is an atmospheric condition where warmer air exists in a well-defined layer above a layer of significantly cooler air. This temperature inversion is the opposite of what is normally the case. Air is usually warmer close to the surface, and cooler high up. In calm weather, a layer of significantly warmer air may rest over cooler dense air, forming an atmospheric duct that acts like a refracting lens, providing a series of both inverted and erect images. A Fata Morgana requires a duct to be present. Thermal inversion alone is not enough to produce this kind of mirage, while a thermal inversion often takes place without there being an atmospheric duct. An atmospheric duct cannot exist without there first being a thermal inversion.
Now, before I say my full theory, I just have one more thing to read to you all about Fata Morgana, because while I was looking up the Wikipedia page, I also found an interesting tip from Merriam-Webster about what a Fata Morgana is. Fata Morgana is the Italian name for Morgan Le Fay, meaning Morgan the Fairy, sorceress of medieval legends. This sister of the legendary King Arthur is sometimes portrayed as the ruler of the island paradise Avalon, and is said to have had a number of magical powers, with which she caused a great deal of trouble. Among her powers, say some versions of the legend, was the ability to change shape, and she has been blamed for causing complex mirages over bodies of water, especially in the Strait of Messina. Today, we know that such optical illusions are really caused by atmospheric conditions, but we still sometimes use Fata Morgana as a synonym of Mirage. The House of Mirages. That's what this name could easily be alluding to, the House of Mirages. Now, that gets me into a weird theory. This is a weird theory from the dream sequence of Mell, but I have a theory that may or may not be what's going on here, but it could be. It could be. So let me explain real quick. Maybe the house in Fata Morgana actually takes place in a sort of purgatory. Yes, I'm using the purgatory theory this early on, but hear me out on this. Hear me out on this. A mirage, Fata Morgana, that sort of seems like purgatory. At the beginning of the game, the master wakes up. The master wakes up to the maid saying welcome to him, as well as her realizing he doesn't remember anything. Why as if that's symbolism of someone forgetting everything that has happened in their life after death. Now, whether or not the time eras are where this master is from, I'm not 100% sure about, but they are introducing different time eras of the mansion's history, maybe to get a sense of the person who currently is the master of the house, to finally, start remembering some of their own backstory. Or it could also be representative of the master being the girl that was in Mell's arms in his dream. This is a wild idea, but hear me out on this. So, Mell's dream contains him holding a girl that's dying with two other guys. And since this game takes place in different time eras, one of the two other men are going to be other main characters that appear throughout the stories of Fata Morgana at different time periods. One as if Fata Morgana is a sort of purgatory to get the girl who was possibly in Mell's arms to remember who she is. For which this could connect that we're the white-haired girl at the beginning of the game. We're the master of the white-haired girl in the beginning of the game. And the white-haired girl
she appears in various stories. She is trapped in the house. She is trapped in the house. And the reason why she's trapped is because she's trying to remember who she is in the future. And the inferences of us seeing the white-haired girl that could lead to us possibly, remembering who we really were through these different eras that we're seeing characters in. The characters in different eras, that may not be relevant. That might not be relevant. I'm not 100% sure. I'm just going off of just a wild jump in the dark. I'm going after a wild jump in the dark, so please do not judge me too harshly. Well, actually, you should judge me too harshly, because I judged the white-haired girl's story, so it's fair to judge me harshly on my theory making right now, because I'm only on part 4, and I'm already spouting some crazy theory. My Umineko brain is kind of, mixing in with every other game, so yeah, that's why I'm jumping into theory mode very quickly. With Amori, I tried doing a capsule that I won't say any theories until after the first chapter of the game, but you know what? With Fata Morgana, I just jumped right into theory mode. But yes. Maybe the master is the white-haired girl, and the maid is trying to walk them through memory lane through various, time eras that seem to be representing the history of the mansion. What happens if those are all mirages to give a sense to the white-haired girl of who she really was before she was killed by the 3 men? And one of the 3 men was Mell. And the other 2, we may be introduced to as the game goes on. Maybe. That's all I'm gonna really say. That may be the answer. Though, of course, there's also at the same time them mentioning a witch. So, it could also mean that, we might not be the white-haired girl who's in Mell's arms, but someone else. Or we might still be, or it could be the white-haired girl still in Mell's arm, but the point of view is from the witch that killed the girl. And if the white-haired girl is the girl who got killed, or the witch, who knows? Like, my theory can still apply to them mentioning unknown witch that might have, led to the death of that girl that was in Mell's arms in his dreams. I'm just stumbling now because I did not think this through as much. But yeah, that's what I'm currently thinking right now. What we're seeing is just another Mirage like a Fata Morgana. And they just all allude to the identity of the master that woke up at the beginning of the game. The time eras do not matter because those are Flying Dutchmans. That sounded a lot cooler in my head than it... Yeah, that sounded a lot cooler in my head.
Okay.